Hi, everyone. Welcome to NiceGamLii Chanel. If you find this content interesting or helpful, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you won't miss any new videos. Your support means so much to me, and it helps me create even better content. Thank you so much. The wealthy. When I woke up, I was dumbfounded by the red certificate. I had no choice but to bite the bullet and find Ning. Planning to quickly propose a divorce. Sister Ning Shi, I think we're not suitable. But she wasn't pleased. She held me tightly with a calm and whispered, "We haven't even tried. How do you know we're not suitable?" I woke up married, and my wife turned out to be the sister who grew up with my. She is not only but also the eldest daughter of the top elite Ning family. When I was young, my family was considered from, and the elders of our families had a deep, so we often visited each other. From that time, I noticed the sister Mingxi especially doted on me. She would always give me taste every night. She would crawl and tell me bedtime stories. But the good times did. After my grandparents, I moved to another city to live. Since then, I had never seen Mingxi until that day. After I got so angry that I went to a bar. But the more I drank, the worse I felt. I drank too much and became until I passed out completely. When I woke up, I was clutching a bright red. I was still trying to recall what happened when the phone beside me suddenly buzzed loudly. I picked up the phone and had a vague guess in my heart. The voice on the other end, "Have you gotten up yet?" My throat moved unconsciously. "Are you Sister Ningxi? It's me. I know you have many questions. I'm waiting downstairs at your place. Let's talk in person." Hearing this, let's talk in person. Hearing this, my mind instantly became chaotic. My wife actually came to find. Could it be that her family's other elders already know about this? Based on what I knew of her father from childhood, if he finds out that I got drunk and dragged their precious daughter, he would probably tear me apart. I didn't dare delay. I changed into clothes and quickly headed downstairs. As soon as I pushed open the door, I saw a slim and graceful figure leaning against a BMW. She was wearing a black shirt and light blue jeans. She looked even prettier than in the marriage certificate. A thought popped into my mind. Still, I ran up to Ning Xiyue and greeted her politely. Sister Ning Xiyue's delicate nose twitched. She said, "Why do you still smell like alcohol? Didn't you shower after getting up?" Hearing this, I coughed awkwardly. I didn't have time to shower. I woke up and immediately got your call. Then, I scratched the back of my head. Sister Ning Shi, are we really married?" Hearing this, Ning Xiyue nodded with a strange expression. I blushed immediately. Sure enough, I had caused trouble. I somehow muddled my way, marrying an older woman, 8 years myself. Although they say a 3-year gap brings, and older women are this was both gold bricks and but I didn't need to ask that the mistake must lie with my drunk. Moreover, Ning Xiyue is a billionaire heiress of a wealthy family. She's also Zhang City's topper, the dream girl of countless men. No matter how desperate she would probably never choose me. At least I have enough self-awareness for that. Ning Xiyue knew I had questions for her. Otherwise, she wouldn't have shown up here. "How much do you remember about last night?" I remember that I seemed to be drinking I participated in some kind of. After getting excited, I don't remember anything else. Hearing this, Ning Xiyue twitched slightly. "I happened to be there discussing business just as I was about to leave. I saw you completely wasted, drinking out of kindness, I wanted to take you. But you not only danced a striptease on the table, you also kept shouting that you wanted to marry someone and even pulled on my clothes." Ning Xiyue pointed at the marks on her neck. The fair skin showed faint traces of pressure. And then, what happened next? I was eager to know the rest of the story. Could it be the story of mushrooms and chickens? So I got drunk and turned out to be this outrage. Ning Xiyue rolled her eyes at me. "There's nothing more. The security guards, but you kept yelling that you wanted to marry the prettiest. No one could stop you. In the end, you dragged me to the civil affairs. The prettiest girl?" Hearing this, I suddenly had a vague memory. Then I looked Ning Xiyue up and down. Although I was drunk, it seems my taste was still intact. I straightened up and asked cautiously, "Did you not resist me?" Ning Xiyue blushed instantly. She pointed at her shoulder. "I did resist, but then you went crazy, pulling at you even broke my camisole with your force. I was afraid you'd take advantage of me, and I'm just a weak woman. How could I fight your strength?" Ning Xiyue curved her alluring red lips, but there was a hint of amusement in her eyes. "You looked a little crazy when you were drunk." I felt my eyelid twitch. I dragged Sister Ningxi to get a marriage and even tore her camisole. This behavior is so perverted, it's almost like this wasn't just a little crazy. At this moment, I was on the verge of tears. "I'm sorry, it's all my fault. I was drunk and acted improperly. You can hit me or scold me." At this moment, I wish I could slap 100 times for being so. Alcohol truly causes trouble. Getting drunk and ending up with a what kind of situation? And this wife is the sister who watched me grow up. What a situation. A trace of helplessness crossed Ning Xiui's delicate. What's done is done. The important thing now is the solution. Will you take responsibility, or should I inform your family and make you take responsibility? Take responsibility? Does sister like me? I froze for a moment, but noticing the smile in Ning Xue's eyes, I figured she was joking. Besides, with countless suitors chasing after, why would she need me to take Sister Ningxi, let's get divorced. I'll definitely find a way to make it up to you. What happened yesterday was my, and I can't delay your future. Before I could finish, Ningxue suddenly said, divorce? You want to divorce me? Do you know that there's now a 1-month cooling, and after the divorce, I'd be a woman with a second. Are you afraid of being discovered because you have a little girlfriend? No, I swallowed hard. Not for any other, but because Ning Xiui's slightly resentment was too enchanting. It's because I'm afraid that I might delay your chance of finding. I shyly lowered my head. That's not it, Ning Xiui chuckled softly. Then why are you in such a hurry to divorce me? Yesterday, I just happened to pass by. Who knew you'd drag me to get a marriage? You got all the benefits, took advantage of me, and even subjected me to. Now, less than 24 hours after the. You want to divorce me? Sister Ningxi, please don't say things in such an ambiguous. But then I thought to myself, Sister Ningxi is indeed quite. Don't forget, Ning Xiue is the precious a proper lady of a prestige. The men who want to marry could line up hand in hand around the earth, but overnight, this goddess who made countless men feel ended up becoming a divorcee, and it's all because of me. It really is a bit tragic. But Sister Ningxi, you don't even like. Do you want to marry someone you don't like? Hearing this, Ning Xiue suddenly fell silent, but I didn't know what I was expecting. My heart inexplicably started racing again. The next moment, Ning Xiue bit her lip light. What if I said I like you? The moment she said this, my mind completely What? Sister Ningxi said she likes me? What do you like about me? Do you like that I dragged you to register? Or do you like that I almost hurt your sister? Make it clear, okay? That way I can adjust later. But I gulped hard. Are you serious? Ning Xiue suddenly burst into laughter. Her smile was like a field of blooming. It instantly swept away all the thoughts in my mind. I'm kidding, but I think before you find someone you truly like, we can play the role of a real couple. And no matter how you look at it, the marriage certificate is real. Even if we decide to divorce it, there's still a 30-day cooling off. Why don't we try getting along for now? Besides, my grandpa has been pestering me to get married. I'm about to go crazy. Just consider it doing me a favor, okay? A flicker of cunning passed through Ning Xiu's eyes. Sister has waited for you so finally tricked you into my. How could I let you slip away so? Outwardly, she remained calm. She even pursed her alluring lips. If we really don't feel anything late, we'll divorce in a month. Playing pretend because I hesitated a bit, but I knew I was in the wrong. After all, forcing her into marriage was entirely my fault. Just as I was Ning Xiue suddenly leaned closer to me. A wave of her fragrance filled my nose. Before I could react, her soft arms wrapped around, and she pushed my head into a BMW. Let's settle it for now. Today, just come home with me to deal with my family. After speaking, Ning Xiu cheekily stuck out, and without waiting for my response, with a press of the gas pedal, the BMW, I was left stunned for a long time. Sister Ning Xi, I don't think I agreed. I don't care. Anyway, I don't want to be a divorcee, so fine. I'll take responsibility. Besides, what's wrong with Sister Ning? Older women are treasures. Older by 5 years, she's. As my mind wandered aimlessly, we quickly arrived at the gate of her family's courtyard. I glanced at the surroundings and instinctively sank into my. Images of Ning Xiue's stern father flashed. Why are we meeting the parents so soon? You held me close when we registered the marriage. You weren't Ning Xue found it amusing. Her red lips unconsciously curved into a playful smile. Let's not bring that up, okay? I said with a long face. Remembering my reckless actions last night, I wished I could switch to another planet entirely. If Ning Xiue kept mentioning it every day, I wasn't sure how long I could hold up mentally. One day, I might die in front of her. Let her live as a widow. Moments later, I followed Ning Xiue into the villa. At the entrance, Ning Xiue hesitated for a moment. Blushing, she glanced at me. Can we act a bit closer? More convincing? I straightened up at her words. Only then did I realize my mindset might not have fully adjusted. I still habitually walked half a step following Ning Xiue. We're husband and wife now, after all. If we act too distant, why don't we try to appear a little closer? How should we do that? I thought but I didn't know where to start. Just hold on to my arm. As soon as she said that, she linked her arm with that softness comparable to a World Cup, instantly caught me off guard. Accompanied by her mature, my face immediately flushed red. A sly smile flickered across. You say you're not interested in me, little guy? She chuckled inwardly. Once inside, the villa's hall was empty. There were faint noises coming from. Without hesitation, she called out, Grandpa, I'm home. Hearing her voice from downstairs, the study door upstairs, you dare to come back? Where's my grandson-in-law? Didn't you say last time? Didn't you claim you had someone you liked for many years? My granddaughter is. How could she not win him over? So that many years of liking someone was just You thought you could fool an old man like me? You think I'd believe your lies? Because of this, you turned down hundreds from prominent families I introduced you to. Do you know that a woman not marrying is considered unfit? Ningxue, I'm warning you. If you don't bring back a grandson-in-law this week, don't bother coming back to this house. Hearing this, and I couldn't help but chuckle. The old man was just as vigorous. The relationship between was incredibly close during the two old men even fought in the war together. They even studied under and fought on the same battlefield. That's why our families were so close. It wasn't until my grandfather passed away that the relationship gradually. Ningxue stood at the door, letting her grandpa scold. Silly sister didn't lie to you. You've saved me a lot of trouble, truly. I laughed dryly and licked my lip. Old Master Ning is really intense about push. Does he nag Sister Ningxi about marriage every time That's truly too tragic. But Sister Ningxi about Grandpa just said, the person you've liked for many. I glanced curiously at Ningxie. Little one, are you already getting jealous of your sister? Ningxue squinted and smiled slyly. Of course, I lied to him. Even if there was someone, now my husband is you. You've already got me. What else could you possibly worry about? With that, Ningxue dragged me into the study. Grandpa, here he is. It's time for your grandson-in-law to. Hearing the words grandson-in-law, the old man looked as if he had been injected. He suddenly looked up. I felt a bit awkward, wanting to hide behind Sister Ning. But aside from her strong aura, she's still just a woman. She couldn't fully block out a man like. Step forward. This grandson-in-law has some charm, even getting shy. Suddenly, I felt like a bashful young meeting the parents for the first time. Facing the old man's intense gaze, I hesitated before finally. Hi, Grandpa. Long time no see. Fangmo, it's you? Ah, come here and let me take a good look. It's been so long since I've seen you, Fang. You've grown so tall and The last time I saw you, you were only as tall as your sister. Come here and let Grandpa have. The sister, of course, is Ning Xiyue. After all, both families always thought Fangmo and Ning Xiyue. Moreover, the age gap between them is quite significant. Even the two old men who fought together did not rashly arrange a marriage for the two. Who would have thought that one would turn the sister in? Thinking about it now just makes me embarrassed. After saying this, the old man glanced behind July. Where's the grandson-in-law, everyone? It was at that moment that he noticed the old man was instantly stunned. He tentatively asked July, the grandson-in-law you brought back. Fangmo, right? You must be joking with me. I've liked Fangmo for many years. Ningxue calmly replied. The old man was silent for a moment. Then he slammed the table and shouted angrily, Do you think I'm so old that I've lost my wits? You two are obviously like siblings. When did you become so close? And how could things take a romance? Even if you're trying to fool me, you shouldn't drag your brother into it. Hearing this, a black line appeared on my The phrase, dragging someone into it, though I could understand the old man's thoughts. Honestly speaking, claiming I had no thoughts about Ningxue would definitely be a lie. A mature, glamorous lady, irresistible to any man. Not to mention she's talented. But whether I truly wanted something with Ningxue, I could firmly swear I never did. Both families' elders viewed us as siblings, and even I always thought the same. Fangmo, speak to Grandpa honestly. Were you dragged here by your sister to fool me? Facing the old man's sharp gaze, I immediately felt guilty. An inexplicable urge to back. Perhaps I should just tell the truth. What do you think? But as soon as this thought came, I couldn't help but shiver. The outcome would most likely involve Ningxue's father. At that moment, Ningxue frowned slightly and calmly said, I'm not lying. The two of us registered our marriage. That's why I brought him back today to meet you. I was worried you wouldn't be able to accept it, so I planned to ease you into it slowly. But who knew you'd be so eager? What do you mean, registered? The two kids are married? The old man's eyes widened instantly. Xue, you go first. The two of you better explain this. What exactly is going on? Ningxue pulled me to sit on the couch in the study. Her movements were extremely as if she had done this 1,000 times in her dream. The old man's furrowed brows relaxed instantly. He started to believe their relationship a bit more. As for Fangmo's earlier nervous look, he didn't suspect it was due to lying at all. The old man speculated maybe Fangmo is just young, so his mental resilience isn't as strong as It's understandable for a young man to be nervous when suddenly brought to meet the family. I never told you this before, But I've secretly loved Fangmo all these years. No other man could ever take his place in my. Even though our families lost touch over the years, I've never forgotten him. It wasn't until that day by chance that we confessed our true feelings to each other. Ning Shue smiled sweetly. Her expression, it turns out I wasn't unrequited. He likes me too. So yesterday we got married. It's like our love came full circle. I unconsciously swallowed beside her. Could Sister Shue actually be, even though it was clearly a lie? It somehow felt like there was a bit of truth in it. How strange. Isn't she supposed to be the victim? So why does it feel like I've fallen into a big bad, like a little rabbit fall? I've never heard of this script before. How am I supposed to play along with this? Fangmo, is everything your sister said true? The old man looked at me with a hint of surprise. After all, in his eyes, Fangmo had always been Ning Xue's. He barely had time to digest the news of their relationship. And now his granddaughter had all. Both families' kids are married. For an old man like him, it was all just too sudden. It was a lot to take in. Really, Ning Xue's pure smile was filled with charm as she held. My face flushed red again instantly, and I started stammering in response. Sister, please stop with the seduction. Actually, I've always liked my. From the first time I saw her, I was irresistibly drawn to her. I still remember her ponytail swinging back and so lively and cheerful. But she was a bit introverted, always holding a book. For some reason, I just liked her calm demeanor. I forced myself to ramble on. As soon as I finished, a blush spread across Ning Xue's delicate face. She gently cupped her cheek with one hand, her beautiful eyes full, but I didn't notice any of this as my mind was racing, thinking, playing along with it, and making up a few lies shouldn't be a future wife. I'm sorry. Today, I have no choice but to succumb to sister. I apologize to you. If Ning Xue knew what I was thinking, she'd probably bash my head in on the spot. The old man's lips twitched upon hearing my. Are you really sure you fell in love at first sight? The first time you two met, weren't you only 5 or 6 years old? A 5 or 6-year-old falling in love with a 14 or 15-year. Well, it's possible, I guess. But this kid, isn't he a bit too precocious? At that moment, I felt like dying. But since the atmosphere had already reached, I could only grit my teeth and nod. Don't blame me for maturing. Blame it on sister being too enchanting, I muttered. Who was it just now saying they wanted? Ning Xue pinched my arm gently, huffing oomph. The old didn't notice the small interaction between. Hearing my words, he let out a hearty laugh. I remember the first time you came, your grandfather brought you over. You were so little, barely looking all silly, adorably dumb. Back then, you loved following your sister around like a little snot. Who would have thought you'd grow up so fast? Old Ning, seemingly intrigued by our, asked curiously. So tell me, how did you two reconnect after all these years? You two were supposed to have lost contact. It sounds like some secret affair. How did you manage to end up together? I wiped the cold, then caught Ning Xue's expectant. I had no choice but to keep making stuff up. Well, here's how it happened. In the past, I always thought our age gap was too big, and I was afraid sister only saw me, so I buried my feelings of admiration for her deep in. But then by chance, we reunited recently. That's when I found out sister had been waiting for. I was so overjoyed that and then we got together. And then we registered our marriage. The old man blinked and asked, That's it? That's it. I wanted to cry, but I couldn't make up anything more. Not, as they say, the more you say. If I kept going, the lie, your grandfather smacked his lip. So where did you two reunite? Such a memorable place. Why not just consider it a wedding gift for you, or even as a meeting gift for you? Besides, you're now my grandson-in-law. If you wanted the moon, Grandpa would try to get it for you, let alone a piece of land. How much could it cost? A piece of land. How much could it cost? Doesn't he listen to people? In a place like Zhangcheng, where every inch of land is gold, who else would say a piece of land is cheap? But Mr. Ning? No, Grandpa. I shook my head and firmly declined. Your family might be wealthy, but I'm as clean as a whistle. If I accept your gift, what if I divorce your granddaughter? How could you not take it to heart? Mr. Ning is straightforward. Seeing me unwilling to talk, he went to ask Ning Xue instead. Where did you two reunite? Ning Xue and I exchanged glances. At a bar. At school, we spoke. Mr. Ning's previously cheerful expression gradually froze. In the next moment, both of us said again, At a bar. Can't you two coordinate? I was so frustrated my head knew. Grandpa really knows how to pick questions. He even wants to investigate where we reunite. Does he really plan to buy the land? Fortunately, Ning Xue reacted quickly. Here's the thing. That day, I was at Fangmo's looking for a friend. I bumped into him. Later that evening, we agreed to go to a bar together. I see, Grandpa nodded. What Ning Xue said made sense, but my granddaughter, both families, always thought you two were like siblings. No one thought otherwise. If you two had feelings for each other, said it earlier, still trying to set with some random man from society for a blind date. Clearly, Fang Mo is the best choice. The next, Grandpa turned to me and asked, "What's the name? Do you have the principal's contact information?" Bars are easy. They fill up in minutes. But for the school, someone needs to communicate. I'm begging you, stop showing off your wealth. From the moment you started probing how we reunited, have you said anything normal? I forced a bitter smile on my face. Now that you two are married, have you done that yet? At this moment, Grandpa leaned in mysteriously. Ningxiu and I aren't children anymore. We naturally understood our faces instantly turned beet red. I cleared my throat. Would I still be able to run away if word got out? Just her suitors alone would grab razors and kill me in no time flat. Not yet, Fang Mo. Is there something you're holding back? Grandpa watched you grow up. I've always treated you like family. If there's something bothering you, just as he spoke, Grandpa's gaze landed somewhere inappropriate. My face instantly darkened. I'm perfectly healthy, Grandpa. But Grandpa finally revealed his sly grin. With a mischievous smile, then hurry up already. I'm either practicing calligraphy or walking the dog. Life has been so dull. Quickly give me a little Fang Mo or a little Shiwei. Then Grandpa can help take care of your baby. These old bones of mine, who knows how much longer I can live? I noticed Grandpa's hopeful gaze. I wished I could find a hole to crawl into. The more I tried to explain, at this moment, Ning Xue finally took over the conversation. There's no such thing. We plan to wait until after the wedding for that. I'm actually a very traditional person at heart. Don't worry. In your lifetime, I promise you'll see our child. Wedding, Grandpa perked up, slapping his thigh with excitement. Right. A wedding. You two might be, but there hasn't a proper ceremony with family and friends. When do you plan to hold the wedding? I took a moment to think. This year, the best dates for a wedding are in the latter half of the July, August, September, and October, but Ning Xue shook her head. I won't have time in the latter. I might need to go abroad for a business trip. Grandpa immediately looked disappointed. So we'll have to wait until next year. Then, at the earliest, I'd have to wait until the year after. When will you have time? Grandpa pressed on, still unwilling to give. Hearing this, Ning Xue flashed a bright smile. This week is the only time. Upon hearing this, Grandpa was momentary. Then he slammed the table and declared, "All right, let's do it this week. 3 to 4 days. I'll have the butler notify family and friends right now. You two can spend the next couple of days picking. No need for Fang Mo to worry about these details. Grandpa will handle everything for you. From the hotel to everything will be my responsibility. You two just focus on your. Then have a smooth wedding night and constant." Grandpa's obsession with having a grandchild is true. I clicked my tongue in disbelief. What did they just say? The wedding is happening this week. I hesitated and asked Grandpa, "Isn't this a bit too fast?" Fast for what? Grandpa casually glanced at Fang Mo. You two are already registered, dating, and getting the certificate all at once. Preparing a wedding in a week. What's so fast about? I forced a bitter smile, but Ning Xue, standing beside me, shot me a sharp glare. It was as if she was saying, if you refuse now, Grandpa will definitely get Indeed, given Grandpa's enthusiasm, if I outright refused, he might suspect us immediately. After all, 2 young people rushing to register their marriage. What reason would there be not to quickly hold? I couldn't even come up with a convincing excuse. My point is, isn't 1 week a bit too rushed? And besides, mentally prepared myself to be a married man yet. Don't worry about that. Grandpa has plenty of money. When it comes to the wedding, be it equipment, there's nothing money can't solve. As for the venue, our family owns several 5-star hotels. Whichever you like, it's yours to use. As long as you two are happy, Grandpa is fine with. Darn it, they say money is the root of all evil. I've truly seen what real evil looks like. By the time Ning Xue dragged me out of the house, my mind was still spinning. When I finally regained my senses, Ning Xi's BMW was already parked in front of a mall. Sis Xue, what are we doing here now? Ning Xue skillfully maneuvered, reversing smoothly into a park. Outside stood a luxurious, pure white palace. Inside were various elegant white gowns. She turned to me with a cheerful smile. Do I even need to? Obviously, we're here for wedding dress. Instantly, my expression froze once again. Is it an illusion? Why does it feel like Chiweijie is so happy? She even seems a little eager. Getting the marriage certificate was indeed a mistake. But now it feels more and more like I'm the one who got tricked. When I stepped into this bridal shop, I couldn't help but have my mouth twitch uncontrolled. The decor here is just too extravagant. Ning Xue led me to the suit section. With a cheerful smile, she's pick a few clothes you like here. I'll help you analyze them later. Let's see what looks best on our family's younger brother. Since you're my husband now, here's this card for you. It contains my dowry. Use it as you please. I blushed immediately. Why do I feel like I'm being kept by a domineering CEO? No. I must keep my principles and stay rational. I quickly pushed the card back. I can't take Xiue's money. Thank you, sister. Besides, I can earn money myself. Hearing this, Ning Xue stared at me intently. Her gaze was so sharp it scared. Then she suddenly smiled. Idiot. What's our relationship now? I twitched my mouth. Siblings. No, husband and wife. Exactly. Why separate things so clearly? You're my husband. Spending my money is only natural. Besides, who knows? I might go bankrupt. Then I'll need you to support me. Keep the money. Use it for daily expenses or save it. Either is fine. Ning Xue curled her red lips into, you better not die and leave me hanging. Anyway, my dowry is yours now. After saying this, Ning Xue turned gracefully and walked away in another direction. It seems she's really going to try on wedding dress. I held the black card, feeling at a loss. Fortunately, the two receptionists at the suit walked over. Sir, your lady instructed us to help you select a suit for the wedding. Do you have any preferred styles? She instructed you? When did she talk to you? Could it have been through eye contact? I wasn't sure. When Ning Xue first opened this fashion mall, she instructed every staff member. If one day she brought a man here to try on clothes, it meant she was ready to marry him. Otherwise, the grand Ning family wouldn't care earned from selling clothes. At that moment, I also noticed that every corner of the mall had the Ning family's emblem. As the largest wealthy family in Jiangxi, it naturally had its own logo, a stylized letter N. I couldn't help but twitch my lips again. No wonder she told me to pick. It turns out this place belongs to her family. Xiuejie really is impressive. She already has the aura of a domineering. I wandered around the suit store for a while. With the help of the two shop assistants, I ended up with 7 or 8. These were styles I thought were decent, and I planned to try them on one by one. Fangmo, what are you doing here? Suddenly, a puzzled voice rang out from a distance. I looked over in that direction and immediately frowned. I saw a man and a woman holding hands, walking into the suit store. It was my ex-girlfriend Lin Shihan and her shameless. Their affair had just been exposed, and today they dared to walk the streets hand in hand. Truly a shameless pair. Isn't this Fang Xuandi? What a coincidence to meet here. Lu Guan, holding Lin Shihan, smiled smugly at me, as if to declare his ownership. Seeing this despicable pair, I felt so disgusted that the three of us used to share the same dorm. Back then, Lin Shihan was in the student. She flirted with Lu Guan all the time. I reminded her about it many times, but Lin Shihan always claimed it was just a class. She even said she stayed close because he was the student and valued her. That's why she kept him around. After graduating from university, she actually followed Lu Guan into the Lu family's company. They even had a superior subordinate. The two of them were glued to each other. Yesterday, I even caught them red-handed kissing in a cafe. Since you saw it, I have nothing to say. Fangmo, let's break up. That's why I was so heartbroken yesterday. Drinking my sorrows, I never expected to run into today while accompanying Xiue to try on wedding dresses. I frowned at the situation. Today's definitely not my lucky day. This is infuriating. What did you say? Lin Shihan's face turned dark immediately. Lu Guan, he insulted me, Fangmo. If you can't keep someone, you can't blame others for moving on. Everyone has the right to pursue a better life. What's more, Shihan can only truly be happy with me. Look at yourself. It's been nearly half a year, and you don't even have a proper job. Lu Guan smirked. And the clothes here, you're only fit to try them on. Any random piece could cost you half. Let me remind you, a man with no money shouldn't aim high. Shihan isn't a woman you can handle. As he said this, Lu Guan even made a claw gesture. Lin Shihan burst into laughter. Oh, you're so bad. Whether I buy these clothes or not is none of your business. You meddling idiot. Stick your nose elsewhere. Well, I wish you both happiness. I curled my lips and continued picking clothes on the rack for myself. Lin Shihan saw Fangmo's indifferent expression and felt a surge of anger. Lin Shihan, was once a goddess back in the day. Although she was the one who wanted to break up with, how could this man show no intention of trying to win her back? Shouldn't he be heartbroken, desperately trying to keep her, only to be kicked away like a dog by her in the end? Fangmo's indifference made Lin Shihan feel uncomfortable. Even someone like Lu Guan, shallow, couldn't stop drooling over her. God knows how much money it took to pry open his legs. Yet Fangmo, not even 24 hours after already seemed indifferent. Lin Shihan pursed her lips and blocked Fangmo's path. You shouldn't come to such high-end places in the future. I, Lin Shihan, can marry into a wealthy, but you, Fangmo, will never. Men should stay grounded. Out of past acquaintance, let me remind you, the suit you're holding right now costs over 80,000. If you accidentally damage it, don't expect us to pay for it. Hearing this, I frowned immediately. I came here today to buy clothes. To buy clothes. Lin Shihan laughed, as if she had heard the biggest joke. She laughed so hard she swayed. Didn't you hear what Lu Guan just said? Any random piece here could cost you. Are you planning to sell 2 kidneys or 2 livers? The shop assistants nearby glanced at the two as if they were looking at fools. The key was that these two didn't know Fang Mo was with Miss Ning Xue's husband. Forget about a few pieces of clothing. This entire mall belonged. What nonsense were these 2 idiots? Finally, the shop assistant, she turned to Lin Shihan. Mr. Fang is here to pick out his wedding suit with us. If you're not buying anything, can you not disturb our customers? If you continue like this, I'll have to call security to maintain order. Customer? This Fang Mo can't even take out 10,000 yuan. What kind of customer is? Lin Shihan mocked without mercy. Besides, my boyfriend Lu Guan is the supreme VIP of your store. So watch your words. Be careful, or you'll lose your job. The store clerk didn't expect Lin Shihan to be so unreasonable. At that moment, a cold voice suddenly came from nearby. Security, someone is harassing my. Just kick him out. Hearing this, I noticed Miss Yue approaching. She was stunning. The wedding dress and her exquisitely beautiful face were like the dream of every man. For a moment, I felt a sense of inferiority. So beautiful. The next moment, Ning Xue walked over to me. She gently blew a breath and said, "Little brother." As soon as she said that, I shivered and felt a chill. This delicate woman left me parched and speechless. "It looks good, Miss Fang," I stammered. At that moment, Lu Guan's voice came from nearby, interrupting us. Seeing Ning Xue, he was stunned for a moment. He felt she looked somewhat familiar. Husband, wife? As for Lin Shihan, she sneered disdainfully and laughed cold. "You're Fang Mo's wife? Oh wow, Fang Mo, you're quite fast. It's only been over 20 hours since, and you've already found. Aren't you even sad? But miss, I have to say, isn't your taste a bit poor to like such a worthless man like Fang Mo? Picking up trash without even choosing. What do you even see in him?" Hearing this, Ning Xue's delicate face flashed. The next moment, a loud slap echoed throughout the suit store. Ning Xue's figure had already appeared in front of Lin Shihan. "Say one more word, and I'll have someone strip you and throw you out." Lin Shihan was completely stunned by the sudden slap. The next moment, her sharp scream resounded through the entire store. "You dare hit me, you..." Lin Shihan never expected that mocking Fang would provoke such rage from Ning Xue. "Lu Guan, someone hit me. Aren't you going to do any? You little tramp. How dare you?" My husband is the office manager of Demao Shipping, and he's also a black card VIP of this mall. How dare you? You're finished. Lu Guan, why are you just standing? Do something for me." Before she could finish her, Lin Shihan received another slap. Ning Xue sneered coldly and pretending to be innocent in front of me. "I'll deal with people like you who can't control their mouths." Hearing this, my face turned red instantly. Can't control their mouths? That was clearly referring to Lin Shihan's unfaithfulness. But how did Sister Xiyue know about this? Before Lu Guan could say anything, a group of security guards quickly surrounded. Lin Shihan had never experienced such a situation and was instantly frightened. Her eyes darted nervously as she stammered, "What's happened?" The burly security captain stepped forward and asked, "Miss Ning, who's causing trouble?" Ning Xue replied calmly, "My husband and I were picking out clothes, but this foolish woman kept bothering my husband. Take them to the police station and report them for disturbing public order. Detain them for 48 hours." Hearing this, Lin Shihan turned pale with fear. She screamed in panic, "Don't touch me! My boyfriend is also a VIP of this mall. Who do you think you are? Have you thought about the consequences? Have you thought about how much loss you could cause the mall? Lu Guan, show them your VIP card." At this moment, Lu Guan panicked as he took out a card and handed it to the security. "I am indeed a super VIP of this mall. Even if this lady has the same status as me, she has no right to expel me." Before he could finish, Ning Xue snatched the card and broke it in half. "From now on, you're no longer one. From now on, we're no longer one." Lin Shihan was furious and yelled, "What gives you the right? What makes you qualified to do this? Who do you think you are? Just because you're beautiful, you think you can... I'll sue you. I'll file a lawsuit against you. I'll make the mall owner blacklist you. Do you know that this is a supreme VIP black? This card is a symbol of status." Lin Chen even planned to post it on social media, but before she could even take a photo, Ning Xue... Hearing this, Ning Xue laughed heartily. "Sue me? File a lawsuit against..." "Listen carefully. My name is Ning Xue, so now you can leave." At this moment, Lu Guan and Lin Shihan were stunned. Their faces were filled. "She's the eldest daughter of Jiang Cheng's top." As the two were dragged away, the suit store returned to peace. I swallowed nervously, not sure if it was because Ning's soft hand was still wrapped around, sending a tingling sensation, or because seeing those two troublemakers gone felt so satisfying. "So that's your ex-girlfriend, Lin Shihan?" She doesn't seem like much. Ning Xiue flicked her long hair and then pinched my cheek, playfully asking, "Can you tell me, how far did you two go in your relation?" I'm really curious. Hearing this, I glanced at Ningxi in confusion. Seeing I didn't respond for a while, her eyes revealed a hint of her voice even began to sound a little sad. "Did you hold hands? Did you hug? Did you kiss? Or did you even sleep together? What nonsense are you talking?" I was instantly shocked and shook my head quick. "Sister Xue, what do you think?" Lin Shihan always looked down on. How could we have progressed further? At most, we held hands during our 3 years. And as soon as I said this, Ning Xiue's beautiful eyes lit up again. Her earlier disappointment and her charming smile returned. The next moment, Ning Xiue leaned close to me and softly whispered, "So you didn't sleep with any girl? You must have been holding." I felt a surge of heat rushing from my feet to my head. I even forgot the questions I wanted to ask her. Why? How does Sister Xue, a woman, know men so well? Sister Xue, be mindful. This is a public place. We should use civilized language. Ning Xue knew that everything needed to progress. After all, I used to see her as a bit from next door. Now, there was such a significant change. It was normal for me to take time to adjust. She smiled enchantingly and asked, "So tell me, do you like me more or Lin Shihan?" Finally, a normal question. Isn't it obvious? Of course, it's Sister Xue, but before, it was more like even I'm not sure how much longer I can resist in front of such a beautiful and maybe the couple experience card will you should take the initiative to this made Xue's eyes sparkle even. It seems she was very satisfied with this. But Sister Xue, how do you know about Lin Shihan? And how do you know his name is Lin Shihan? I don't think I've told you about my ex-girlfriend. Hearing this, Ning Xue's expression, she seemed to be caught off guard. She raised her eyebrows. Xuanji furrowed his brows but quickly relaxed. "Oh, it's because you mentioned it yesterday, when you were drunk at the bar. When you were drunk, you kept mumbling this name. I mumbled Lin Shihan's name when I was drunk, but I didn't even feel like I loved." The next moment, I gave a bitter laugh and said, "Can we make a pact? Let's temporarily forget about what happened at the bar. I even feel like moving to another planet to live." Moving to another planet? That's not an option. I've waited for you for 13. It's not easy to see you grow up. Running away isn't possible, is Ning Xue thought to herself. But she agreed aloud. "All right, but I want to know why your ex-girlfriend looked down. Your family at least owns 2 houses and a car. I remember Uncle Feng once said, he gives you over 10,000 yuan. For a college boy, that should be enough. Were you trying to hide your identity to test your girlfriend?" Xue pouted her red lips, pulling me to sit on a chair in the store. She rested her delicate hand on, seeming very interested in the matter between Lin Shihan and. To this, I could only cough light. Actually, after Grandpa passed away, my parents sold one of the houses, and they have a rather progressive mindset. They think that saving money isn't as worthwhile as spending. So since I started college, they've been traveling around and enjoying life. They only call a few times a month. To be honest, this month, I don't even know where they've wandered off to. The old couple really knows how to. Ning Xue smiled, as expected of Uncle Fang and Aunt He. But don't lie to me, sister. Didn't anything happen between you and Lin Shihan? Yesterday you said you two were even living together. This kind of I even said it when I was drunk. I widened my eyes. I swear I'm never drinking again. If I drink again, I'm afraid all my secrets will be exposed. Ningxue, please, can you stop bringing it up? Hearing this, Ningxue huffed. She pinched me lightly. I'm your wife, after all. Can't I be curious about your past? Or are you planning to lie to me? As she spoke, Ningxue leaned in close, leaving only a paper-thin distance between us. Our eyes locked, and I could even count the number of her long eyelashes. I could only cough lightly, trying hard to keep my eyes off her. Well, we lived together because Lin Shihan didn't want to pay rental, so I subleased a place near her. It was a 2-bedroom. We slept in separate rooms. I usually stayed home, making videos. I actually have an income, and I can support myself. By the end, my voice grew quieter and at that moment, I suddenly remembered something important. My computer was still in the rented apartment. After the breakup, I went straight to the bar. After sobering up, I returned to the small house my parents left me. As for how I got home yesterday, I have no memory of it. Hearing this, Ningxue frowned. Is the computer that important to you? Of course. It's how I make a living. Fangmo gave a bitter smile. He was quite satisfied with, even though the income was a bit low, he could barely support himself. All right, then. Let's do this. Pack all the suits you tried on earlier. We'll go home and try them all. But first, I'll go with you to pick up. Ningxue didn't say anything like, I'll support, or why do you still need to work? After all, that would hurt a man's dignity. The two left the suit shop and headed straight to Wutong Street. They had a meal on the way, taking over 2 hours. Do you want me to come up with you? When they arrived, Ningxue winked at me. My heart involuntarily started racing again. Blushing, I could only say, "No need, sister. I can handle it myself. Besides, I'm just picking up my computer. It's not like I'm doing something shady. Do I really need a chaperone?" I went upstairs. I rang the doorbell for a long time, but no one. She's probably staying at Luguan's place again. I took out my keys and retrieved my computer. Then I headed downstairs to meet Ningxue. But just then, a handsome man with a buzz cut walked toward us. He was dressed in a suit, giving off an elite white-collar vibe. "Xue, what a coincidence. When do you have time to visit Jadeite Apartments? If you'd told me earlier, I could have booked a restaurant for us to have dinner." As he spoke, he noticed me standing next to Ningxue. The man raised an eyebrow, but didn't say much. His gaze lingered, mostly on the stunningly beautiful Ningxue. Ningxue merely gave him a cold glance. "I had some business and came here for a bit. I'm leaving now." Hearing this, the man quickly stepped in front of Ningxue. "Xue, we've been old classmates for so many years. Even if you're not enthusiastic, you don't have to be so. I know you have a strong personality and value independence, but even Old Master Lin once said, you should spend more time with talented young people. Since we've run into each other today, why not have a meal together?" Flirting with my wife right in front? Ningxue didn't say anything. She simply looped her arm around mine subtly, then pinched me lightly. This scene made the man's eyelid twitch wildly. "And who is this gentleman?" I instantly understood Ningxue's little gesture. Xue truly is captivating. Even here, she runs into admirers. I cleared my throat and said, "I'm Ningxue's husband." "Sir? I know my Xue is mature and charming and very beautiful, so she's attractive to men. But she's already married now." "Married?" Ning's married? To a kid who looks barely in his 20s? The man's expression twisted in disbelief. "How is Xue, are you testing me? How could you suddenly be married? And why didn't I know about your wedding? You must be testing me, right? You know how I feel about you. Even Old Master Lin supports our family." "Testing you? Testing what exactly? Do you think Xue has nothing better than to test you?" I don't know why, but a sudden anger flared up inside me. "And don't bring up Old Master Lin. I just came from the Ning family this morning. Xue and I are legally married. Our relationship is protected by law. As a citizen, you should obey the law. Snatching someone's wife should be out of the question, right? Sir, if there's nothing else, we'll be leaving now. Also, don't casually invite someone else's wife to dinner. This time, I'll let it slide but if I see it happen again." After saying that, I grabbed Ningxue and walked straight out. Ningxue was completely stunned. She originally just wanted Fangmo to get rid of this annoying pest. She didn't expect that when faced, Fangmo would show such assertiveness. For a moment, Ningxue felt a small sense of security. "Little guy, you're jealous?" "Jealous? Sitting in Ningxue's car?" I thought for a moment, then nodded honestly. "Yeah, I did feel a little uncomfortable." Ningxue pursed her red lips and chuckled lightly. "Today I helped you once. You helped me once? Mutual assistance. Happy cooperation. Mutual assistance. Does that mean we're even?" My heart tightened for a moment. "The matter of our wedding. Shouldn't we inform Uncle Fang and Aunt Ran?" Ningxue didn't notice Fangmo's change in mood and changed the subject on her own. I hesitated for a moment, considering my parents' laissez-faire attitude. Even if they knew I married Sister Xue, they probably wouldn't care. But do we really need to notify them? It feels so formal. Maybe just a brief notice will do. Hearing this, Ningxue chuckled softly. "What? Afraid I'll tie you down after the wedding?" I laughed dryly and said, "No, not at all." When we arrived at Sister Ning's villa, it was already around 7 or 8. I had planned to go home, but earlier at the suit shop, I didn't try on. Xue had someone pack up all the styles I liked and bring them back to the villa. She insisted I try them on at home. Deciding on the final suit for the wedding, he waited, watching Fangmo carry a dozen suits into her bedroom. Ningxue's red lips curled into a charming smile. "Now that you're here," she picked up her phone and made a call. "To the butler, bring all of Fangmo's belongings here. As for his house keys, I'll get them out in a moment and hand. You can pick them up at my doorstep." Her steps were light and smile, like a sly fox pleased with its trick. Soon, I came out of the room in a new outfit. The suit was slightly grayish in color, exuding a premium texture under the light. They say suits are a man's armor. Clothes make the man, and my demeanor immediately leveled up. Not bad. Ningxue's beautiful eyes shimmered with. I still felt a bit nervous about it. After all, since graduation, I hadn't attended any formal occasions. Suits like this, I'd only worn a few times in my life. "How about this one, sis?" Hearing that, Ningxue nodded. Our family's little brother really looks good in anything. After saying that, Ning Shiyue gestured with her red lips to the wedding dress she brought. But it doesn't feel like it matches mine. I chose a long, trailing wedding dress. Standing together, we might look a bit missed. How about trying another one? I nodded and obediently went back to the room. Ning Shue's red lips curved into a sly smile. All right, I'll change my wedding dress too. Let's check in front of the mirror. I'll change in my bedroom and you in the study. I didn't think much of it and obediently went into the study. The casual outfit I wore in the morning, jacket and pants, were left in the bed, but Ning Shue's eyes sparkled with a cunning delight. The little guy fell for my trick. As he entered the room, he first rummaged through his pants pocket. Sure enough, he found Fangmo's house key. Just as his phone rang, the timing was perfect. The timing was impeccable. Ning Shue had the butler stand below her bedroom. She tossed the keys to him from the window. When I came out in a new outfit, I suddenly realized that Sister Shue had been quiet for a long while. I wondered briefly, was putting on a wedding dress by herself too hard? Then Ning Shue's voice rang out from the room. Little brother, come in. The zipper in the back is out of my... I froze for a moment and then my face instantly turned beet red. Ning Shue's urging voice sounded again from the room. Hurry up. The wedding dress is heavy and holding the train is exhausting. I quickly went into the room. Once again, I was stunned by the sight of her I had seen it earlier that morning, but I still couldn't help being amazed by Ning Shi. Her skin was already pale and flawless, and the fitted wedding dress perfectly accentuated her. A pink gemstone rested delicately on her chest, nestled just right in the hollow. Ning Shue was stunning, to say that she was simply breathtaking. Sister Shue, holding the long train in one hand and arranging her hair with the other, noticed my reaction. A hint of pride flickered in her eyes. Dummy, what are you staring? Hurry up and help me. Do you want to tire me out? I coughed awkwardly. Then I slowly walked over. As I tugged at the zipper, my hand inevitably brushed against Ning's bare back. I shivered as a chill ran down my spine. I steadied myself and pulled the zipper up firmly. However, the bottom of the zipper got Ning Shue turned her head in confusion. Still not done? Sis, don't move. At that moment, I lost my balance and accidentally stepped on the long train. Losing my balance, I ended up falling onto the bed, holding Ning Shue. With a loud thud, we were suddenly in close contact. Just like that, I ended up holding her tightly as our faces were close. A genuine moment. I stared straight at her delicate features, her flushed rosy cheeks, the elegant curve of her brows, and her bright almond-shaped eyes. The slight upward tilt of her gaze seemed to radiate an electrifying... I found myself staring at her soft, crimson, and for the first time, I felt a strong urge to kiss her. But fortunately, reason prevailed. Ning Shue, this cheeky woman, seemed equally flustered as her forehead. Even she seemed momentarily electrified, but her gaze showed a rare trace of panic. Blushing, she said, "Get up already. Are you trying to crush me?" Sorry, sis. I stammered awkwardly. I didn't mean to. Quickly, I scrambled off the bed, helping Ning Shue adjust her wedding dress thoughtfully. Just then, a commotion erupted outside. Ning Shue and I exchanged glances, her expression confused, but Ning Shue seemed to understand the situation. She thought to herself, the butler works fast. As we stepped out of the bedroom, we found over a dozen suitcases in the living room. I froze for a moment. What is this? Ning Shue's butler Xiaojie chuckled sheepish but didn't answer. In his mind, in the future I shouldn't call her Miss anymore. She should be addressed as Madam. After all, their wedding is imminent, and now they're living together. It's only a matter of time before the young lady... Mr. Fang's belongings have all been moved, including his clothes and personal items, toiletries and some daily necessities. I even bought 3 large bags of toilet. After Xiaojie put down the last box, he raised his head and reported something. I completely lost control of my What the heck? Are all these boxes my stuff? When was my house looted? Ning Shue blinked at Xiaojie, gesturing for him to leave. Meanwhile, I had already rushed over nervous and started opening each box to carefully check. As expected, the boxes really contained all my things, even toothbrushes, towels, everything. The meticulous housekeeper Xiaojie brought. At this, Ning Shue angrily said, "This housekeeper is really meddlesome. Who asked him to interfere? Why didn't he consult with you before bringing all your stuff here? Even if you go back to cook tonight, you probably don't have toiletries there, right? Besides, moving things back and forth it's already this late. If I move them back for you, you'll still be tidying up in bed past midnight. It's just causing trouble for others. I'll call him to come over and pack it all." Hearing this, I was but after thinking about, actually logically speaking, others don't know that their relationship, the housekeeper probably assumes they're getting married, and living together is only natural. So helping with the move is just part of his duty. But still, I can't help feeling something's off. At this thought, I stopped the furious Ning Shue. "Forget it, Shue. It's not really his fault. Ning Xue pretended to probe with a question. You're not mad? I gave a helpless, bitter smile. Why should I be mad? After all, he meant well, sister. Do you have another empty room here? Otherwise, I can sleep in the study. Hearing this, Ning Xiue's eyes lit up. Her plan finally succeeded. A faint smile crossed her face. Sleep in the study tomorrow the bed, and by the day after, sharing the same bed seems inevitable. All right, you can sleep in the study tonight. You're right. After all, we're already married. Grandpa is watching us close. Eventually, we'll have to live together. Moving things earlier or later doesn't make. Let me help you organize your clothes. I'll put the ones you don't need right now in the wardrobe. Hearing this, I nodded hesitantly. All right. After finishing her words, Ning Xue picked up two and headed towards the bedroom. I stared at her back, feeling something was. It seemed she was heading towards her own bed. I frowned slightly. The next moment, I finally realized. I slapped my forehead. Wait, no. Xue never discussed with me that we had to live together after marriage. How did it become such a given? I gasped sharply. Unknowingly, I felt like I had been tricked. At that moment, I noticed a medical kit placed in the corner. Recalling how I accidentally scratched when I was drunk, I figured it was time to show some care. I quickly picked up the kit and headed to the room. Xue, let me help you apply. Before I could finish my sentence, I pushed open the door and saw her smiling while staring at an open suitcase. I was confused. What was so interesting about a suitcase? The next moment, I followed her gaze and was instantly struck like lightning. Inside the suitcase, dozens of neatly folded men's underwear. Of course, all of them were mine, but over half of them had cartoon character design. Ning Xue remarked with great interest. So this is your style, huh? What are you wearing now? Could it be something similar? Such a teasing comment. Ning Xue looked me up and down with a playful gaze. Even with my thick skin, I couldn't. Blushing, I quickly snatched the suitcase. Xue. Maybe I should keep my stuff in the study after all. Unexpectedly, Ning Xue crossed her arms, smiling mischievous. But my bedroom is the only one with a wardrobe. You can't just leave your personal clothes scattered around. That wouldn't be clean or hygienic. Without noticing my embarrassed expression, Ning Xue opened the wardrobe and said, I've already cleared out space for you here. This area is for summer clothes, and this one is for winter clothes. As she spoke, intentionally or not, she skipped over a large drawer in the middle. I thought to myself, such a big drawer, surely it has plenty of space. Could it be empty? Out of curiosity, I pointed to the drawer. Xue, what's inside this drawer? Oh, that, Ning Xue said, drawing out her word, laughing lightly. Why don't you open it and see for. The next moment, as she opened it, I felt a wave of heat rise from my feet to the top of my head. I almost had a nosebleed. It was too shocking, especially when I imagined what those things would look like on sheet. I nearly bolted out of the bedroom. Xue, I'll wash my face and calm down. Ning Xue watched my retreating figure, chuckling softly. What a fool. It's just lace, perspective cuts, and it's not like there are any photos of me. Is it really that exciting? Thinking to herself, Ning Xue smiled playfully as she placed the clothes into the wardrobe. About 20 minutes later, I returned after calming down. Xue, you're too seductive. Come and help me apply some medicine. Hearing this, I was shocked again. My throat dry. Does this temptress ever stop? Ning Xue pursed her red lips and urged, hurry up! I took several deep breaths to steady my emotions before walking toward her. Looking at her fair shoulders, I tried hard to keep my gaze in check. But my eyes had a will of their own. Summoning all my courage, I picked up the cotton swab and gently applied. The warm touch startled her, and she let out a soft hum. My expression changed, and my hand involuntarily trembled. The cotton swab almost fell on. Through gritted teeth, I managed to say, please don't make that sound, sister. Sorry, it's just so cold. I couldn't help it. She said apologetically, but her face betrayed no hint of guilt. It's done, sister. The time spent applying the medicine felt as though a century had passed. Finally, I let out it's all my fault for leaving such an ugly on your beautiful shoulder. If it doesn't heal, I'll feel guilty forever. Ning Xue gave me a meaningful glance, licked her enticing red lips, and said, then how about I leave? What? I hadn't even processed her word when Ning Xue suddenly leaned closer. Her mature and elegant scent filled my senses once again. Before I could savor it, Ning Xue opened her cherry-like and bit hard on my neck. The bite was quite strong. The pain drove me crazy all the way to shilling. After a moment, Ning Xue finally raised her head. Breathing softly, she said, you tore my shoulder. Let me give you a small bite mark. That way we're even. Oh, by the way, you applied medicine. I'll help you apply some later, too. Come a little closer. Let me take a good look, she asked. Suddenly I trembled as if shocked. No, no, no. There's no need, I stammered. Then I quickly got up and ran to the study. Sister Shue, it's late. You should rest now. I'll turn off the lights. Good night and sweet dream. The bedroom plunged into darkness. In the dark, Ningxue blinked her bright eyes. Xuanji chuckled softly. Isn't teasing this little guy too much? But why do I enjoy seeing his shy look? Could teasing and grooming a future husband? I lay on the bed in the study, tossing and turning, unable to. My body felt. And all kinds of wild thoughts flashed through my mind. Ding, just then, my phone suddenly buzzed. Still awake? Asked a message from an unnamed WeChat contact. I opened their profile picture, intending to check their moments, to figure out who it was. But to my surprise, they had no moments. The profile picture was 3 minion dolls, apparently staged. The minions stared with their round, wide eyes. Who are you? I typed these 3 words but hadn't sent them yet. Then they sent another message. I see it says you're typing. Looks like you're awake. Want to come and sleep in my arms? When did my WeChat friend include someone so outrageously flirty? Do we even know each other? You want me to sleep in your arms? Could it be some secret admirer flirting with me? Sorry, I'm married. I thought for a moment, then took out my marriage certificate, snapped a picture, and sent. Seeing Fangmu's photo, Ningxue immediately replied with 3 laughing emojis. What the heck? I paused, and then the door suddenly knocked. Before I could react, a lightly dressed Ningxue pushed the door. Keeping yourself in such good shape, but little one, don't you think you owe me an explanation as to why you didn't save my The next morning, when I woke up, I had dark circles under my. Last night, restless, Ningxue knocked on. It scared me so much that I was trembling. She insisted on saving her contact name and note on my phone. Only then did she let me. By the time I got up, it was already late morning. I rubbed my sleepy eyes and found several new messages on my phone. One was from Ningxije. The saved name was Wife. I'm heading to work. I'll bring you something delicious tonight. Another was from a friend named Washing Machine. What's going on between you and Lin Shi? Didn't I hear you 2 broke up the other day? So why did I just get your wedding invitation? The name Wife was, of course, chosen by Ning. She thought Sister Shue sounded, and she was afraid your old man would notice. Now that the 2 were legally married, still calling each other would surely raise suspicions with the sharp elder. Though that reason seemed logically sound, I still felt something was off. And wasn't Sister Shue a little too attentive to me? Even though they were now officially husband and wife, there was no emotional foundation yet. But Sister Shue was already so devoted to me. She showed a possessive streak, like the kind of that felt like she got into her role way too quickly. And whenever I was with Sister Shue, I always felt there was something odd about the way she looked at me. It gave me the illusion that Sister Shue really liked me, but I must be overthinking it. I scratched my nose absent-mindedly and called my friend Washing Machine. The moment I heard Washing Machine's loud voice, "What's going on with you? I woke up this morning and got your wedding invitation. At first, I thought it was a mistake, but then I saw your photo on it. I sighed inwardly. Sister Shue really works fast. But thinking about it, it makes sense. Their wedding was scheduled for this week. She had to notify friends and family in time. I laughed and casually replied, got married. What? I thought you broke up with Lin Shihan the other day. I remember that girl hooking up with our university's student council president. Did you 2 get back together? I rolled my eyes at this. I saw them kissing with my own eyes outside Starbucks. How could I possibly reconcile with Lin? Hearing this, Washing Machine let out a sigh of relief. A good brother wouldn't forgive a woman who cheated on him, right? Breaking up was the right call. Deal with each other. A perfect match of trash. They won't harm anyone else. The next moment, Washing Machine asked curiously. I took another look at the invitation. The bride's name, it sounds so familiar, but who is Ning Shue? Sounds so familiar, but who is Ning Shue? Your ex-girlfriend. Did you get so heartbroken after the break that you just grabbed someone off the street to marry? I coughed at his words. Congratulations. You guessed right. I really did just grab someone. Washing Machine was stunned. His gasp came loudly over the phone, making my head spin a bit. Are you serious? How could you be so reckless? Marriage is no joke, my friend. Do you even know your wife well enough? You just went for a flash. What if something happens in the future? I rubbed my temples in exasperation at his words. Sister Shue and I have known each other since child. We definitely know each other's back. Plus, there's no way we'll have any in-law drama with her parent. At most, I just get a few eye rolls from her uncle. You can rest assured about these things. Sister Shue is a very reliable. Our families are longtime friends, but you must have heard of her. She's one of the prominent businesswomen in Jiangcheng, and one of the most well-known ones at that. One of the famous female CEOs. There are only a handful in Jiangcheng. Washing machine froze for a moment. I just remembered. Isn't the princess of Jiangcheng's top family and the queen of the business world named Ning Xiyue? Ning Xiyue. Is your wife the eldest daughter of the Ning family? Compared to his earlier questioning tone, Washing Machine's voice now rose several octaves. Is it that surprising? I moved the phone away to avoid being deafened by his yelling. Yes, it's her. Washing Machine's family is also in business, and their scale isn't small. They're among the well-known enterprises in Jiangcheng. Since Washing Machine's elder brother passed, he's been managing the family business. So I was sure. He must have heard the sound of a washing machine thudding in a melancholic sound filled. My goddess, that's my goddess. The dream of 20 million men, and yet you just threw it all away like that. Tell me, what kind of spell did you cast on her? Is this straight out of a novel plot? Did the goddess fall ill with some Did she need a live-in husband to ward it off? So your family reluctantly chose you? Being a live-in son-in-law as your brother? Let me give you a piece of advice. Let go of Fairy Ming. Let me take over. Let me bear the pain of being scorned. As a live-in husband for you. Damn, you've really got an overactive imagination. I wiped the cold sweat off my forehead again. The washing machine was still rambling on the other end. Brotherhood means taking the fall for others, right? Who else would do it if not me? Is it still possible to change the groom on the enough, stop acting? The next moment, I sighed helplessly and slowly. In July, after I drank too much, I dragged her to the civil Getting the marriage certificate was mine. Naturally, I should take responsibility. Do you have time this afternoon? If you have questions, let's talk in person. A few words over the phone can't explain everything. Besides, you're my only brother here in Jiangcheng. It's likely that you'll be my best man at the wedding. If your curiosity isn't satisfied, you might just quit on me at the last minute. The washing machine agreed readily. Since you're marrying into a wealthy, you better treat me to something good. Bulgari Hotel it is. You really aren't holding back. My eyelid twitched slightly. I reached into the black card Ningxue gave me as a dower was still quietly sitting there. At around 2 p.m., I met the washing machine at the Bulgari Hotel and he noticed me and casually walked towards the hotel's dessert. He almost blurted out something. I rolled my eyes. Not again. You said you wanted to have afternoon tea at the Bulgari. Besides, I probably can't afford any other place. Your manuscript fee won't arrive until I figured only a place like Bob could match the standard for this card. As I spoke, I pulled entering the dessert section. We casually ordered some. I rarely eat desserts. So after a couple of bites, I left the rest for him, but his attention wasn't on the desserts. He kept staring at the black card in my hand. This is Shua's dowry gift for me. Are you planning to rob me or something? He rolled his eyes. Rob you? By the way, how much money? Why don't you even need to enter a PIN when using? I shook my head, indicating I had no idea. I really didn't know how much money was on the card, but considering Shua's wealthy demeanor, it seemed like that her dowry wouldn't be less than 7 figures. After taking a photo of the card, he said he hadn't seen such a card before either. It was likely a custom card for high-level bank. The washing machine looked enviously. President Ning is really good to you. No wonder she's the famous CEO of Jiangcheng. I curled my lips. Who was it on the phone earlier saying that becoming a live-in husband would earn me scorn? When did I even be spineless, getting bought off by one card? He scratched his nose. Not exactly. I came out with you today mainly to learn from you. Maybe I'll land a rich heiress myself and save my dad. Speaking of which, I mainly wanted to learn from your experience. Next time, I'll aim to get myself a rich heiress too, so my dad won't have to work hard for enough. But speaking of which, you just broke up with Lin Shihan yesterday. You said you wanted to find me that day, but I happened. So later, the day before yesterday at noon, I bumped into that scumbag couple at Starbucks. Right after that, I called, but you were too busy with your family business to help. So I ended up going to the bar by myself to drown. I nodded. Yeah, I went alone. And that's where I happened to run into Shiyue, who was there discussing business. Actually, I never told you, but our families have been close for a long time. My grandfather fought side by side on the battlefield. When I was young, our families often dined together. After my grandfather passed away, our contact gradually lessened. Wow, so the rich lady was always by your side, and now the rich lady is your wife. The washing machine's eyes lit. So what happened next? Did she sympathize with your sad story and then out of pity decide to marry you? That's too melodramatic. No way. I recalled the awkward event and felt a headache coming on, but I forced myself to explain and told him. After a while, the washing machine looked. So you're saying you got drunk at the bar, caused a scene. and dragged Ning to the registry to get married. And the most ridiculous, she didn't resist you at all? My face turned red with embarrassment. That's exactly what happened, although I blacked out when I woke up. There was no denying the red marriage. President Ning didn't even. My face turned red with. That's indeed the truth, although I blacked out when I woke up. The red marriage certificate. The washing machine glanced at me with envy. If we weren't brothers, I'd be jealous of you. You've already written jealousy. I rolled my eyes. Isn't it? By the way, in July. She wasn't entirely without resistance. It's just that I was drunk and scrapped. Sister Shiwei got hurt on her neck, and even her shoulders were injured. I chuckled bitterly. Was she afraid of me acting out while? That's probably why she let me drag her to the Civil Affairs Bureau. Hearing this, the washing Fangmo, but I know some basic common sense. I think President Ning wasn't forced into it. Maybe she had it all planned out. Saying this, he planned out. How is that possible? I shook my head vigorously. Impossible. Absolutely impossible. The washing machine he gritted his teeth. Are you really clueless or just pretending? Your sister Shiwei is a renowned judo. Are you saying she couldn't handle a drunk guy? A judo expert, Sister Shiwei? I was stunned. I honestly didn't know that, but Ning Shiwei is often on the news. Being in the business circle, the washing machine, maybe he saw it in the news. I cleared my throat. Maybe she was acting out, he sneered. Do you think the eldest daughter of the would be afraid of a drunk guy acting out? Even if she couldn't call security in the or report it to the police, do you think she couldn't find help at the Civil Affairs Bureau? At a place like that, if she just shouted, someone is forcing me to get married, would she really be afraid of a drunk guy according to what you said? Even if she couldn't find security or couldn't call the police, when she got out of the taxi, are you telling me she still couldn't find anyone at a place like the Civil Affairs Bureau? If she just shouted that someone, wouldn't anyone have come to help? There could immediately be 7 or jumping out to drag you. Only Ning Shiwei would say such a thing to you. The one caught up in the situation, and Ning Shiwei, so young, can still hold her ground in the brutal bit. Such a calculating Minnan woman. Could she really be outsmarted by a fresh graduate? The washing machine shook its head. It sighed. He's still too young. Let me tell you, there's only one way to outsmart President Ning, unless, speaking of unless, the washing machine trailed off meaningfully. My heart skipped a beat, and I immediately urged him, unless she really wants to marry you. I was immediately struck by lightning and the washing machine's analysis without a single flaw. Could it be that Sister Shiwei? My heartbeat sped up uncontrollably. At that moment, the washing machine leaned, lowering its voice. But you're going to have a hard time later. I heard that President Ning has always been except with family. Even with business partners, she treats them she maintains a cold demeanor towards everyone, like an eternal, unchanging ice block. No matter how beautiful she looks, staring at a serious ice block all day, it's hard for a man to muster any interest. I sighed again. Sister Shiwei is an ice block washing machine? Who told you that? Although Sister Shiwei seems a bit aloof in front of outsiders, she's always been kind to me. Since childhood, she's always been gentle towards me, especially after everything that happened yesterday. Sister Shiwei teased me 8 times in one day. She even speeds off impulsively. Thinking of this, my face started to heat up. Could she really be so untouchable? Minshi Group meeting room. Ning Shiwei had just finished a company meeting. With a cold face, she walked toward the office. At that moment, Ningxi saw a message on her phone about a card. A faint, beautiful smile appeared on her face. It was the card she gave to Fangmo. He spent money on it. Is my husband willing to spend? Wife earns, husband spends. This is a good start. Ning Shiwei's secretary happened to walk into the office at that moment. What she saw was a bizarre scene. The always serious President Ning was staring at her phone, foolishly, for over 30 seconds. The secretary had never such an expression on President Ning's face. It was filled with warm affection, and the secretary froze in place, stunned. This was the first she had ever seen President Ning showing such an expression, having been used to her cold demeanor. It was like seeing an iron tree bloom. The secretary was naturally shocked. At that moment, the secretary suddenly felt a chill pierce her body. It turned out Ning Shiwei had returned to her usual. Her icy gaze fell on the secretary. Do you need something? President Ning, here are the proposals from the executives. Would you like to review them? Ning Shiwei waved her hand, dismissed. No need. Tell them to revise them twice more. If they can't come up with better content, check for type. If there are no typos, then check punctuation. Just make sure they don't bother me today. So willful. President Ning is a workaholic. At work, she's like a machine. working nonstop. She barely even has time to drink water. So what happened all of a sudden? Anything else? The secretary was when Ning Xue's icy voice sounded again. The secretary quickly collected the proposals in her hands. She practically ran to push open the office door. Even though Ning Xue hadn't said a word, she could feel the icy prickling. It was as if daggers were. The next moment, Ning Xue directly dialed a number. "Where are you? Sister Xue?" I asked, puzzled on the other end of it. It wasn't even the end of the workday yet. Why would she have time to call me? Thinking about what the washing machine had just said, my heart started racing uncontrollably. "Are you off work yet?" Ning Xue chuckled. Her gentle voice came through the phone. "Just finished up. Where are you? Send me your location. No need, sis. I can get back myself. You don't have to bother. This is rush hour after all. It'll take you a while to get here anyway." But Ning Xue was very insistent. She even teased, "The wine at the Bulgari Hotel? I want to check it out and see if my is sneaking around with someone else." Oh, so this was a check-in call? For a moment, I could that Sister Xue was quite to think that the high and mighty goddess, in so many people's eyes, could also have such a playful side. And this was just the day after we had messily registered our relationship still unclear. Hearing that the goddess, the washing machine, who had been eavesdropping, it wildly mouthed, "Let her come, let her come!" I blushed in embarrassment. "All right, come if you want. I'm with some friends. Oh, by the way, Sister Xue, I should let you know, they're same-gender friends." "Got it, I know." Ning Xue laughed and hung up the phone. She tapped the steering wheel lightly with her then drove along the overpass, straight to the Bulgari Hotel. Meanwhile, ever since Ning Xue hung up the phone, the washing machine had been unable to stay calm. "I told you the goddess. Otherwise, how could she speak to you so gently and even come over to... Do you know how awkward it was before, when I saw her being interviewed? The scene was so tense. The host told a joke, and everyone in the audience laughed, but Ning Xue kept a straight face. Then, when the crowd quieted down, she asked, 'Was that funny? You wasted 56 seconds of my time.' The washing machine shivered and folded the atmosphere turned cold in an... I pictured the scene in my head and couldn't help but feel a bit sorry for the poor host who interviewed Ning Xue. At that moment, a tall, slender silhouette slowly appeared behind me. But before the washing machine note, the woman spoke excitedly and joked, "Just imagine! The ice-cold goddess who shuts down melts into a puddle just for you. And not just any puddle. A pure spring only you can enjoy. What kind of feeling is that? Her sexy voice calling your name. Just the thought of it is intoxicating." As soon as these words, Ning Xue, standing behind me, was stunned. Do guys talk about such things? And when they do, the subject happens to be me. Ning Xue was momentarily speechless, but she wanted to see how Fang Mo... Enough is enough. I angrily punched the washing machine. "Sister Xue is my wife, and you're making inappropriate jokes about her. Isn't that crossing the line?" Hearing this, Ning Xue's red lips curved into a charming smile. "He just called me his wife behind my back?" The washing machine coughed awkwardly. "He used to have some thoughts about, but they were just idle fantasies. She's like a wild horse, no ordinary. This wild horse is not something an ordinary person can, and now I have no idea at all. Speaking of which, why are you blushing? You're a couple. You'll eventually do that." Before the words were finished, a crisp voice suddenly came from behind. "What are you talking about?" Sister Xue's voice startled me. I turned around but I was sitting in a chair, while Ning Xue was crouching behind the young man. Their heads were almost at the same height. So the moment I turned my head, Yue's red lips just happened to press against mine. The cool and soft touch of her lips, though it was just a brief moment, Ning Xue, like a startled fawn, quickly stepped back. But in my mind, there remained only her divine beauty and softness. "Sister Xue, when did you get here?" I suddenly felt guilty, like being caught It wasn't good to talk about someone behind their... Now it was worse, having a close encounter with the woman was wearing, so I couldn't read her. I felt uneasy at that moment. Ning Xue shifted slightly, her red lips pursed, and she glared at the young man. "Annoying brother, I just wanted to... How could you take it? Now it's ruined. My first kiss is gone. What am I supposed to do now? How can I remarry now?" It was embarrassing. They'd only been married for 2 days. And they were already kissing. Even though it was an accident, it was still her first kiss after over 20. Even though she had always planned to save it for him, it shouldn't have been given away so casually. There was no sense of ceremony. On the other hand, when I heard this, I was dumbfounded. If your first kiss is gone, you can't... What kind of logic is that? I opened my mouth. Well, why not find someone who, having kissed another man? Damn, you're a real steel straight... Ning Xue fiercely pinched the young man in front of her. "What are you talking? My mom said, kissing can make girls pregnant. If I'm pregnant, how can I marry someone else? Kissing? Isn't that just something parents say to prevent teen... How can kissing make..." I widened my eyes, Sister Shiwei, you're a grown with a college education. How can you not know this? Hearing a playful glint flashed in Ning Shiue's eyes, accompanied by a faint fragrance, she leaned closer and said, "How do girls get pregnant?" The next moment, through her sunglasses, I vaguely noticed Ning Shiue's beautiful, captivating. It was mesmerizing. Only then did I realize I'd been tricked by her. She was deliberately teasing me. The washing machine on the side was stunned. Ningzong. I was sitting, so I didn't know how much she had overheard. But the washing machine knew exactly when. Apparently, everything I said earlier was heard by the first. The washing machine nervously greeted, "Hello, Ningzong." I didn't know what the washing machine was thinking as I pointed. Sister Shiue, the washing machine. Ning Shiue then smiled. "Thank you for taking care of my family." "Hello, I'm Ning Shiue." "You're so famous, you don't even need an introduction." I rolled my eyes. But the washing machine as if something came to mind. He unintentionally feeling like he had seen Ning Zong's, and definitely not in a photo, but his gaze was quickly noticed by me. I elbowed him unhappily, as if to assert the washing machine could only smile, but his gaze was quickly noticed by me. I immediately elbowed him unhappily, as if to assert my claim. The washing machine smiled. After a brief exchange of Ning Shiue took Fangmo home. But before leaving, Ning Shiue handed the washing machine her business card. The woman was well aware of the current situation. The eldest son died in a car accident, and the previously overlooked second was suddenly forced to take charge. It was a difficult time. As a friend, she offered her help if needed. The washing figured this was Ning Zong's way of showing support for. Gratefully, he accepted the. I shyly said to Ning Shiue in the driver's seat, "Sister Ning Shiue, I used your card today." Hearing this, Ning Shiue just nodded. "Use it however you like. The money in there is enough for you to spend. If it's not enough, I'll transfer more." Hearing this, I gave a thumbs up in my heart for Ning Shiue. No wonder she's the dream of 20 million men. She's truly charismatic. The car gradually fell into silence. I glanced at the messages on my phone and found a message left by the washing machine after. The washing machine. "I feel like I've seen Ning Zong somewhere before. Not in the news or on TV. It feels like I've seen her in person, in real, but I can't remember exactly when." Reading this message, I felt puzzled too. The washing and Sister Shiue both belonged to the Zhang, but before the eldest son of the Li family, the second son was always kept out of the limelight. He rarely participated. He hadn't even been to the company many times. So I sent a message on my phone. "Who did you meet Sister Shiue with? I think I remember you saying you met Ning Bo with me?" I was even more confused. How could it be with me? In my third year of high school, after that, our families hardly had any Besides, during college, I stayed in the dorm almost. I rarely even left the school. You must be remembering it wrong. It took the washing machine a while to Probably. I really can't recall where I've seen Ning Shiue before. Maybe I just remembered it wrong. Soon, the BMW came to a steady stop at the gate of Ning Shiue's small villa. After Ning Shiue got out of she immediately took off her jacket. "Fangmo, hey, I'm going to take a shower. I'm all sweaty. Come in later and help me apply some ointment." I obediently nodded and followed behind her. Yesterday, when I applied ointment, I left the medicine box in her bedroom. I headed straight for Sister Shiue's room. At that moment, I noticed several cute yellow minion dolls on the windows. Yesterday, since it was my first time entering, combined with the ambiguous and tense atmosphere, I didn't have the chance to carefully observe the decor, but now, upon closer inspection, I realized her room was nothing like the pink-themed girls that most guys imagine. Instead, there were imported marble surf. The desk was filled with books. Not just for show, each one had signs of being read. Some even had sticky notes with made by Ning Shiue. Besides the three minions, there were also green. The whole room, aside from the minions, barely had anything that could be called plush toys. Otherwise, you wouldn't think this was a girl's bedroom. Sister Shiue even has a knack for tending to plants. Although she has a face that could enchant the world, her hobbies don't match her appearance at all. From the condition of those potted plants, they were carefully nurtured by Ning Shiue herself. Each pot exuded vibrant light. Every pot of flowers radiates vibrant. But why do these three minions look so familiar? I grew up staring at minions on the windowsill. This is Sister Shiue's profile picture. Her WeChat profile picture is this minion. No wonder it looked familiar to me. But the strange feeling in my heart still hasn't Three minions in this house just feel out. At that moment, my phone suddenly, it hit me. Do you remember? Back in sophomore, when we went out to play darts. We won 7 or 8 first prizes. I suddenly remembered something. This guy suddenly texted me. What was this about? As if possessed, I glanced at those three minions. A lightning-like thought flashed through my mind. I remembered. In sophomore year, I saw Shiwei. It was at the mall during a dart game near the washing machine. Meanwhile, the washing machine guy also typed a long text. He sent it over. It was about that time. Back then, we won 7 first prizes. The prize was plush toy. When we left, you said you bumped into an acquaintance. You went over to greet them. Because it was weird for 2 guys to carry. You casually gave 3 of them away. I instantly replied to the text, almost in it. The plush toys were minions. I put the rest on my couch at home. They're still on my couch now. So Sister Shiwei's profile pic must be the minions I gave her back then. Those 3 minions. Now, even I started to feel weird about it. The dart game was 2 or 3 years ago. My memories of it have become blurry over time. At the time, it seemed like a meeting Shiwei and didn't seem significant. Even I didn't think much of it. Could the minions in Shiwei's room be the same ones I gave her back then? She even made them her profile picture. Is this implying something? Just then, the voice of the butler, Xiaojie, came from the young master Fang. What are you hearing a sound behind me? I was startled. Oh, I'm helping Sister Shiwei find the first aid kit. She got scratched on her shoulder. It wouldn't look good wearing a wedding dress with a scar. The butler looked at me doubtfully, then suddenly blushed. He glanced at the bed again. I get it now. The young master and lady really have a lot. The young master just moved in yesterday, and today it's already started. You two are so diligent. I bet when the old master finds, he'll be very pleased. Maybe he'll get to hold a grandchild this year. What nonsense. Did you misunderstand something? I wanted to explain, but Xiaojie had already gone to fetch the first young master. This morning, when I was cleaning the ladies' room, I noticed the first aid kit, so I brought it out conveniently. With that, Xiaojie handed the first aid kit to me. At the same time, the sound of running water came from the shower. And then Ning Xiui's voice, "Brother, can you find my lotion?" My face instantly turned red. I could only lower my head deep. Even the butler, Xiaojie, widened his eyes, covering his mouth in disbelief. Who would have thought the lady had such tastes? No wonder the lady got hurt. The bathroom floor is so just standing there is a skill, let alone moving around. Xiaojie giggled mischievously. Young master, the lady is calling you. I'll leave you 2 alone. But take it easy today. You don't want to give the lady another injury. With that, the little maid darted off into the villa. Blushing, I opened my mouth I wanted to explain a bit, but the more I tried, the worse. It felt like there was no room for explanation. I had no choice but to and hand it through the bathroom door to Shiyue. At this moment, the large villa was complete, except for the sound. The sound instantly stirred up restless thought. Droplets sliding down her fair skin and hitting the floor were vivid images in my mind, refusing to go away, especially when I looked at the shower door. The translucent glass revealed a faint outline of her silhouette. Damn it, lust is truly a sharp blade. Fangmo, control yourself. I took a couple of deep breaths. Sis, I've left your towel on the sink. Are you going to shower later? Ning Xiui's came out softly from the misty heat of the bathroom. The warm moisture formed a haze, making the entire bathroom blurry. As I touched my back, I realized I was drenched in sweat. Somehow, I had started sweating and my sticky clothes clung uncomfortably to my body. My mind was filled with countless, wild and inappropriate thoughts. I decided I needed a cold shower to calm myself down. Ning Xiui chuckled, her voice teasingly playful, stimulating my nerves. Do you need sis to scrub your back later? Or should we just shower together? It's just that sis can't her back on her own to apply body wash. Showering with Sister Shiwei? A cold shiver ran down my spine and my nose. Large drops of blood fell to the floor. Don't mess around, sis. If you keep this up, I'm going to overheat, I said with a miserable face. Forget it, I won't shower. I quickly ran out of the bathroom after saying that. This little guy is so shy. It's just helping sis with some body wash, isn't it? After saying this, Shiwei burst into laughter herself. She rushed into the while I kept silently chanting, "This enchantress is really going to devour me." Just then, I suddenly noticed on the living room table there was a plastic bag from I distinctly remembered there was nothing there earlier today.